YouTube? This is Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and I am Steve, here to give you your second mock draft for this upcoming season. Right now, we're going to be doing, again, a 10-man league, PPR. This will be for the second position in the 10-man league. Again, this traditional snake draft, so that way we're able to help you guys prepare and kind of figure out, like, hey, if I've got the second pick, what should I be aiming for, especially when you start going that swing route, right? If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also, follow us on our socials. We're out there on Twitter, Instagram. Soon we'll be doing some TikToks, those TikTokers. But we'll be doing that soon as well to give you guys some advice on there. Ask questions, hit the comments section down below. Hit our DMs and Twitter and Instagram if you guys have any questions for your upcoming draft. And of course, we'll be helping you guys out throughout the whole season for any starts and sits for the upcoming season. Now, with that said, we are going to go into a mock draft for the second pick. PPR. Make sure you understand this is a PPR. Most people traditionally play that now. Standard League is a little bit harder to come by. Not to say it doesn't exist. Obviously, you can make some changes when it comes to Standard League. Running backs might change a little bit where they get picked. Receivers might get, a different pick. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Again, hit us in the comments. Hit us on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you guys are, so that way we can help you guys out. All right, let's get into it. We're actually going to use the Sleeper app. Sleeper is one of my favorites when it comes to, I would say, leagues, mock drafts. I mean, they do such an amazing job. I am not sponsored by them at all. I also use Yahoo Fantasy as well. So those are some good options. But I like Sleeper's mock draft app because I also do individual defensive players. And if you guys would like, we could go over that as well in another video. But again, this is your second pick. So with that said, I'm going against the computer. We're going to make this as easy as possible. I'll explain why I made certain picks, what my logic is. Again, these can go different ways, and I've been doing these mock drafts several times, almost every day, just so I have an idea of kind of where players are starting to drop and where you get some good value, because that's where it really matters. I think for you, depth is always going to be what helps you win the championship, all right? So let's get that started. Again, this is a PPR. We're going to start in the second pick. All right. So Barkley, that is surprising because I have actually been seeing Barkley really falling down to the 6th or 7th, possibly even the 9th pick. So with that said, I'm getting the steal. I'm going to get McCaffrey. McCaffrey falling to the second pick is a steal. If it wasn't for McCaffrey, I probably would have gone Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook's probably your second best option at that pick. Now, when you go to the swing route, now you're starting to see some of the tight ends go. You may see a quarterback here or there. I've seen some of those happen, like Patrick Mahomes, even Lamar Jackson or Kyle Murray. All right, so now right here, you start seeing, okay, you see DK Metcalf, you see Patrick Mahomes, you see some good options here. For me, tight end is someone I might consider, but I wouldn't go the second round, okay? So for me, I'm actually going to go and steal a nice, good option at the wide receiver position. Even though I would love to have gotten a Diggs or a Hopkins because I think those are probably your prime receivers. For me, I like the option of picking up our boy Calvin Ridley. I might be a little high for most people, but I went that route because, again, you want to have a good starting receiver. A.J. Brown is a great option as well. I'm so tempted. So I love the tight end position, and you've got right here Kittle sitting there staring at me. And I think most people would go this route. I think most people would love to go Kittle. I think, again, in the PPR position, you want to have studs at running backs, studs at wide receivers, right? You can get a good tight end, all right, a good tight end, typically around the 6th or 7th round, that will still help you win leagues. I've only had Kittle or Kelsey once in most of my 10 years of or so doing fantasy. Never has been that big of a difference where I felt like, man, that's the game winner. So for me, yes, I would love to have Kittle. I think Kittle is someone you would probably get in the late third, middle third that you feel a little bit more comfortable with. But being that this is an early third, I actually am not going to go Kittle. I'm actually going to go with Najee Harris. You need another running back. He is a great starting option. He will be the starter for the Steelers. They love that guy out. If you follow any of the camps or anything like that going on, he's a great option right there. I know J.K. Dobbins is another one, but there's so many different factors with the Ravens running backs, with Gus Edwards doing really well. I'm not crazy about it. Now, this is where it can be a little tricky. You can either go stud quarterback like Kyler Murray, who finished second last year, but I'm not going to. Okay, again, I can get away with the fact that I can get a good starting quarterback in the top 10 easily, if not 5 later rounds. Okay, so again, what I'm thinking is try to go receiver, running back. Those are some of your hardest and most difficult positions, I think, to fill. So for me, I'm actually going to go to the Amari Cooper route. Not because I'm a Cowboys fan. Don't do it. Don't do it, chat. Don't do it. Don't put in those comments that I'm, it's because he is a great option at the wide receiver position. You see Kyle Pitts really early. David Montgomery is another great option. All right, so now I've got my 2 starting running backs, 2 starting receivers. All right, now it's all about depth, right? Or do I go tight end and do I go, obviously, quarterback? Now I'm looking at this, tight end options. If you look at our tight ends, Mark Andrews, these guys you could easily get in the later rounds that would help you out too early. Quarterbacks, Kyler Murray is a possible steal. Dak is someone I've been eyeing a lot. And Dak I've been seeing, if you look at his average draft position, he has been falling typically around the late 5th round, early 6th. Okay? So that's kind of where I'm like, ooh, should I wait and risk it and try to go after Dak or get Kyler Murray now, who will help win the league? Or do I want to add more depth, right? You still need a flex position. You still need some bench players, bye week players. And you've got some great options as far as Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, even Cooper Kupp are some great options. So that is really tough. But I'm actually going to let's go quarterback. All right, so Kyler Murray, again, even though I grabbed him, he was the 3rd quarterback so far in this mock draft. He finished 2nd last year. And he could easily finish 1st or 2nd again. He's got that type of talent. He's a game changer when it comes to the quarterback position. He can run. He can pass. He's awesome. See, I would have missed out on Dak. That was one guy I would have absolutely loved to have gotten. But, again, I didn't quite want to go there. All right, so, again, now you're filling the depth. You're filling who can be some great bench players, flex players, things like that. So I've got my starting players right here. When I look at this, you've got Kenny Golladay, Tyler Lockett, Myles Gaskin, TJ. You've got some good options here. So I actually like the idea of adding Myles Gaskin as a great flex player who could also fill in some of the bench, right? So you got 2 receivers back-to-back. This guy picked at Golladay and Ayuk. I actually like Brandon Ayuk a lot. He's one that I've got as part of my Who To draft video that's going to be coming up soon. I like him a lot, especially where he falls, typically around the 7th and 8th round. He's a great steal who can actually really fill in. So I actually am, again, not going tight end. You can start to get some of these guys a little bit later. I'm actually going to fill in my wide receivers. I like Deontay Johnson over Juju, even Chase Claypool, even though I know Claypool tends to go a little bit higher than Deontay. But Deontay Johnson, if you watched him last year, was an amazing option for Big Ben and the Steelers, and I still believe that to the core, okay? Now, I'm going to actually start to fill, and this is where when I'm thinking a draft, I need to start filling my full roster. This is where you start going tight end. I have not filled the tight end position. We're never going to draft kicker or defensive this high. If you guys do, I'm not sure you should be playing fantasy football right now. I think you need to watch a little more videos. But right here is where you go tight end. Now, you've got some great options. You got Noah Fant, who did great last year. Dallas Goedert, who is I'm very high of. Mike Gesicki, I like a lot. Gronk, Tunyon, Irv Smith. Logan. I mean, these are all amazing options right here, okay? For me, I've really kind of gone back and forth between Goddard and Gesicki. I like Gesicki a lot with the added weapons of Will Fuller, even though he's suspended the first part of the year, and Devontae Parker. But I like Goddard a lot more with the fact that Jalen Hurts really is going to rely on him a lot. Yes, there's still Zach Ertz situation, but Goddard is the guy. Let's not kid around. Like, that's the guy. So I like him a lot. Now we can start again filling your bench in depth. Right here, you got Jerry Jeudy, who's a great option. Ronald Jones, Deebo Samuel. I'm not crazy about Kenyon Drake because you still have Jacobs in the backfield. You got Robbie Anderson is a great option. David Johnson, who is, obviously a decent option here. So you can see how it's a little bit more of a struggle. You start looking at some of these players, you're like, wow, they're definitely not quite starters per se, but they will help with some great matchups and things like that. I'm actually going to go Jerry Jeudy because the Cortland Sutton coming back, that is huge. This is a make or break year for the quarterbacks for both Teddy Bridgewater and obviously their boy in Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked. Trevor Lawrence actually went pretty high considering where he is at. You've got Tom Brady still available, Matt Stafford. I'm actually kind of shocked to see that in this mock draft. I have actually not seen him that high. I've seen him a little bit later rounds. I mean, we've only got 4 or 5 rounds left, but I I don't know how I would pick Trevor Lawrence over, say, a Tom Brady who's got weapons galore and he's now in his second. But hey, this is a mock draft. This is what we're here for. We're kind of seeing where things are starting to flow and go. All right, so I've got 4 receivers. I would like a little more depth. I've got obviously 3 running backs. I've got 4 receivers here. So this is where I can either go to a backup tight end or another backup running back. If you look at some of the running back options, you've got both Buffalo running backs. Great options. Damian Harris, A.J. Dillon. You got Gus Edwards. Darrell Henderson now, with that said, is someone I would actually go after. With the fact that obviously Cam Akers, unfortunately, tore his Achilles. Obviously, I'm a big Florida State fan, and Cam Akers is a great, I love watching him in college. He was great for LA. I hate to see that happen. But in this case, for fantasy reasons, Darrell Henderson is actually now going to be the guy for the LA Rams. I can't pass that up. I'm actually going to go another depth option right here, Damian Harrison. They're talking him up in New England. He is most likely going to be the starter for the Patriots. I like him a lot. They liked him last year. He was starting to show some signs. I really do like him. Now you're going to start seeing some of the depth as far as tight ends starting to go. You're seeing quarterbacks starting to go. I'm really kind of shocked with Deshaun Watson. Now here's the thing with Deshaun Watson, guys. I want you to understand there's still a lot of legality issues going on. There's still uncertainty if he's going to play this year. And, of course, they don't have a lot of their weapons like they used to. So this can either be a dud for you, if that's your only quarterback you drafted, or an absolute steal because I have been seeing him dropping in the later rounds. This is someone that, again, I'm going to drop a video of some option, not I would say sleepers, but players you definitely want to go after based off their ADP. So, again, that right here can be a hit or miss. I know it's not my pick, but I just like kind of seeing where this flows. All right, back to the picks. So we got 2 more picks before I have to go kicker, defense. I actually like to get a great, solid tight end. I like Logan Thomas here. He tends to be in this spot. I like Logan Thomas. He's the starter for Washington football team. He's a great option there. And now, if you look at receivers, I've got 4. I've got great options at running back, so I'm going to go back to the wide receiver position. I never draft 2 quarterbacks. I've seen some people go that route. Like you see these guys are going 2 QBs. And I've thought about that, and I've done that in the past. But I found you can pick up a lot of these great quarterbacks kind of like during bye weeks when you need them to. Or, of course, knock on wood, injuries happen. I don't ever draft. I'd rather draft solid players kind of going this route than going to the quarterback position. You don't necessarily have to go and do what I've said, but again, from my experience of doing this, drafting 2 quarterbacks, unless you're in a 2 QB league, doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you can get a lot of these players, again, right off the waivers, okay? So I'm actually going to go receiver. I'm going to go Devontae Parker. Again, another great option with the opposite of Will Fuller there. He's still going to be a great option for Miami. I do like him here. Now we're going to obviously go into the kickers and the defensive side. A lot of what you're going to see is going to be defense going first. Then you'll start seeing kickers kind of flowing in because you obviously have Justin. I mean, look, Tucker is the best kicker in the game. Of course, you want to go after him. You want to get kickers that obviously have a high point possible scoring, teams. So I look at this. I actually am going to go to Greg Zuerlein, that Cowboys offense. Whether they're going to be a good team this year or not, that's indifference. That Cowboy offense will score or get close to the end zone, which is going to allow me to get some more points from Zuerlein. Then you look at defense. I've actually looked at these. I'm not crazy about the Tennessee Titans. New England will be improved, especially when a lot of their players last year did not play due to COVID. They're going to be back this year. And again, I believe this is going to be the year of the Patriots with Belichick coming in full force. Not saying they win the Super Bowl, but I do believe they're going to be turning it around. So I'm actually going to go New England at the defensive side. And there you go. The rest of the teams are filled out. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys would have done anything differently. Let me know if how you feel or think about my team. If you guys have questions, again, make sure you hit us in the comments. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram. Make sure you follow us there. Again, if you liked the video, hit that like button for me. It helps out with the algorithm. If you are still new to this channel and you have not hit the subscribe button, you want to see more, excuse me, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell so when we drop more videos. We're going to start pushing out way more videos now the season's coming up. I want to make sure you guys are prepared. I'm going to try to drop them about every other day if possible. I know things can kind of get a little hectic with editing, things like that, but I want to make sure you guys are prepared and ready. Most of your drafts probably are coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if not further. I want you guys to be prepared and winning. So again, thank you guys so much for coming in, checking out this mock draft. Hopefully this helps you guys out and kind of get prepared. Make sure you do mock drafts, practice, get ready, and I'll check you out next time.
Yeah.